Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, folks. We're paying you at Gmail on the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Vitamin Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, can you believe it? We just got another week left, and we're just going to be almost a month into 2025. What the crap? I mean, it seems like, I don't know what it is. When you get older, it seems like times want to fly faster. But anyway, folks, I have here, folks, is a lovely lady. She competes in the EPC, also competes in other organizations. She's a licensed therapist, family and marriage therapist. She's also a performance coach in mental health. I saw her, some posts she had. So some of my followers, as I call them, my little birdie, sent it to me and said, "Check her out, George. I think you might like her." So, and it's good to get a perspective, especially for a lady who is a competitor who also deals with mental health as an athlete, and get the uh really feedback for what it takes to be in competitors in the sport. We have the lovely Mrs. Sierra Boatwright, and we welcome her for joining us today. Welcome,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So the question I ask you, ladies, what got you started in sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Interesting. Muscle and masculinity. I didn't see it quite that way when I started bodybuilding specifically. I have been a lifelong athlete, gymnastics as a kid, competitive cheer and dance team in high school, also played soccer, did an undergraduate degree in dance performance and kinesiology. And all through that time was lifting weights. That was, in the 80s and the 90s when there weren't a lot of women in gyms or in the areas of gyms where weights were. I remember in high school being the only female in the weight room with, the football team or the baseball team. And, I got a lot of teasing about that because, sometimes the coaches were like, "Oh, you're just here to pick up the boys." And I was like, maybe physically I could pick them up, but no, that's not why I'm here. And then when I, started having children, I have 5 kids. Most of them are grown and launched now, but in between each of them, they're about 2 years apart for the first four, and then the fifth one is like 5 years later. I would always use weights and aerobics to kind of like pull my body back into a condition that I wanted, but I never actualized the shape and the feel that I wanted in my body in terms of like the aesthetics, but also just the power that I wanted to feel. I touched it here and there along that timeline, but it wasn't until just after COVID when I started. Instagram gets to know you and it sends you things. And I started seeing a lot of these local competitors who all traced back to the same coach, David Esparza of Team 3D Training. And so I reached out to him and said, "Hey, I'm seeing a lot of things I really like. I met a woman who competed with you. She also had 5 kids. If she can do it, I can do it. When can we talk?" And he is so intense. He was like, "I only work with the very serious." And I was like, "Well, I am serious." And he was like, "Okay, well, I'll let you know when I have time." And I just harassed him for about 6 months. Every month I'd be checking in. "Do you have time? Do you have time?" Finally, he was like, "Okay, like I'll talk to you." And then we met and I showed him kind of some physiques that I wanted to acquire, like styles that I thought I could acquire. And he educated me on genetics. And then said, "Let's just work together to make you the best you that you can be." And at that time, I wasn't really planning to compete. I just wanted, let's see, at that point, I was 47 and I had had all 5 of my kids, and really just saw that it was a now or never moment. If I really want to achieve the look and the feel that I've always visualized, it's now time. Because I knew at 50 or so things are going to start changing for me hormonally, and it was only going to get harder. So now was the time. So we started, and he put me on a prep. And pretty immediately, like 7 weeks in, I'd lost 20 pounds. And so that was pretty much all inflammation. Yes, there was definitely some fat loss, but 7 weeks in I was a pretty rapid loss for me. I don't know how that compares with other people, but his immediate response then was, "You should compete." And I was like, "Why would I do that?" And he said, "Well, they let you have a donut when you come off stage." I was like, "I'll do anything for a donut." I hadn't had sugar for 7 weeks. And so,
Well, big question: what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Like it was that. It was that. It was like, give me sugar. However, I got to compete to get a donut. Okay, I'll do that. And of course, I didn't know what I was signing up for. I just said yes. But once you say yes, that's when the journey begins. You know, the intention of anything that we do begins the moment it's conceived in our minds. And so I said yes. That was 2021, and in the fall of 2021, and I competed in June of 2022 in the Southwest Muscle Classic. Um, Actually, no, we started prep in June. I competed in September. We did two shows that year, Southwest and the Central California Championships in figure. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of how it got started. Um, Hope that gives you the gist.
Yeah, because I know quite a few ladies who got into bodybuilding because either they were had athletic background, track and field, gymnastics, like you said, love lifting weights, especially I grew up in the 80s and 90s also. Bodybuilding, especially the women, was still brand new. I think remember the most popular workout person was Jane Fonda. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
I think she did the craze, and everybody was following her, and a lot of those workout shows that used to come on. I used to watch them. I was my best age. I wasn't watching for the exercise, but
Right.
but yeah, you have to be serious about when you get in sport. Like as my other guy would say, "Why so serious?" And it's a lot of work, especially you got five kids. How old are your kids, and what's the ages from?
My oldest is 26, so I have two boys and three girls in that order: 26, 24, 22, 20, and 15. So the
Mm.
15 is still, doing her high
The
school
baby.
thing. The others are pretty much launched. The 20 and the 20, actually 20, 22, and 24 are all in college at various levels, pursuing careers. And the 26-year-old has a couple of businesses and is a performer in the union for this stagehands, and he lives over there in that world. So everybody's really busy, and having only one kid left to really like usher into adulthood kind of created a little bit more space for bodybuilding.
Yeah, because I know Kylie's really got just because of they had kids and their bodies change and they wanted something. They just basically just wanted to work out, lose a few pounds,
Mhm.
and then it hit. All it takes that one person say, "Hey, I think you could be a bodybuilder," and that
Yeah,
was your coach. Yeah, your coach. He wanted to mention it to you. And how long you and your coach been together? What's his name again? And how long
David
you been together?
Esparza. David Esparza on Instagram is at Esparza 3D Training, and we met in 2021, and that's we began right away. It was funny because while I was in that early stages of training with him, I was training at a private gym where a lot of other folks that train with him went. And every now and then, about twice a month, I get to train with him at the 3D gym at his home. And I arrived one day to probably hit legs or something terrifying. And that gentleman was there that day, and he looked at Coach and he's like, "Hey, man, I've been seeing her over at the gym, and man, she is really serious." And then he like stopped for a minute and he was like serious, Sierrious, which is how I got. That's my team nickname now is Sierrious, and that's my handle on Instagram, Sierrious Gains. So we matched in that intensity, and we have been going solid since then. I will be Team 3D to the day I die. I mean, that man is transformative. Bodybuilding itself is transformative, but when you really have a relationship with your coach where you can have radical transparency and true vulnerability about all of the things that come up, and I think especially as a master's level athlete and as a woman, there's a lot of societal um, isms that come into play when you start to do something like bodybuilding. Everything from like a dancer training. So my background is in dance, and in that world, the women are expected to be as small as possible, to be as light as possible, to take up as little space as possible so that you're easier for the men to lift, for example, or that you can achieve a certain line that the choreographer wants you to have, and they want you to like starve yourself or overtrain to get a certain look. And in bodybuilding, it's really the opposite. And so Coach D has been an amazing supporter and listening to me freak out, about numbers on the scale. The numbers have to go up, Sierra. I understand that, but my dancer brain is freaking out because the numbers are going up and it means that I'm getting too big or I'm getting too fat or whatever. The social isms, I call them, the expectations on women are really a big factor, I think, for the process of letting bodybuilding really transform you the way it needs to, because it's on this really deeper level where you're looking at your own identity and you're looking at how you value yourself, your efforts, your intention. How do you live it out? How do you really manifest, make flesh the ideas in your head? The why that you came in might change over time, but what is the commitment that you're making to yourself, and how do you conform your thoughts and your behaviors and your beliefs and your relationships to support that intention? And it can change your entire life. I mean, I have seen, and I know other teammates and competitor friends I have seen, relationships may come and go. Careers may change. I'm lucky that I get to work for myself. I created the life that I wanted so that I would have the space to focus on my kids and my passions. I organize my life around my sport and my kid. I train first thing in the morning. Nobody gets my time till 12 noon. I see clients from 12 to 6, and I support my kid in her theater career. And that is how I organize it so that I can fully actualize this transformative process called bodybuilding.
So you being an athlete and also being a super mom, that's a lot, because most people, when they can think about, especially women in bodybuilding, they don't think there's a lot of women who have children. I know quite a few ladies who have done interviews with, have come friends with. They have the responsibilities of children and of a family, and and to bring that into this sport, it can be tough. Because, like I say
Oh,
again, you lose friends because family members and friends don't understand what you get involved in. This bodybuilding's not
yeah,
like any other mainstream sport, like football, basketball, even boxing.
yeah,
I've done interviews with ladies in combat sports who also were mothers who fight for a living. And
yeah.
people don't understand that because it's something very different from them. We got some people here coming through. This is my brother, my man KL the Wanderer. Shout out to KL. He also does content on women in the sport of bodybuilding. He says,
Hey.
"Hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, what's going on with you?" Also, KL says this, says she has the actress look for a marriage counselor. Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. I think maybe a little bit of a Sigourney Weaver kind of what's that actress? I know it's this, there's really great actress in the back of my head. I know, but here. Also, he says this. He says, uh, does she do natural bodybuilding? She looks natural. So you were before. You
Right.
were in the UNBA, which is the United Natural Bodybuilder Association.
Mhm.
You did that. How
Right.
long you were doing that? Are you still in it, or you now focus more on
So
NPC?
yeah, so I both of the years that I competed, 2022 and 2023, I did both UNBA and NPC. Their posing styles are slightly different when it comes to figure, but for physique, they were both the same. And I was by the book natural up until, and I was going to compete in 2024, and we'll probably talk a little bit about what happened in 2024, but halfway through prep, about 10 weeks into prep, I had this incredible edema situation come on where my legs swelled and I lost all my shreds, and it was like very concerning. We thought maybe I had a blood clot. And in the end, it was a combination of factors of some kidney stuff and, electrolyte imbalances. And I learned a lot there too. And at some point, if anybody wants to talk about the nuts and bolts of that, I'm happy to do that. But so I ended up getting pulled off prep because my coach is the kind of coach that's like, it's the athlete first. And yes, we love having a big team that's going up on stage, and we love getting all the wins. Team 3D does not compete unless coach thinks that we can win. And under the circumstances, health had to come first. So we pulled out. I was going to do UNBA that year as well as NPC and the Masters National. But part of the silver lining of that was learning that my testosterone was a single digit number. And so now I am on hormone replacement therapy because it's medically recommended for me. And it does bring up for me and other natural competitors who are masters level this conundrum that I think the sport really needs to look at. And I probably will start trying to make some inroads to advocate for this. But there are a lot of us who are in our 40s and 50s and older, probably, who are on hormone replacement therapy because it is medically recommended. But by the rules of any natural federation, we are not allowed to compete because they're considering that an enhancement. But it's not an enhancement. Like, we're not taking testosterone to get jacked. We're taking testosterone or estrogen or progesterone because our bodies are naturally depleted in that because we are perimenopausal or menopausal. And so there's this gap. Like Fit Model division just came in because they felt like there was a gap. A lot of divisions have been formed because they felt like there was a gap. I'm calling for there to be a place to acknowledge non-anabolic, non-PED using bodybuilders of the master's level who do need to have hormone replacement therapy because it's medically recommended, and to not consider that an enhancement when it's within levels, right? Like, so if your doctor does your blood and says, dude, your testosterone is 7, and then recommends a protocol, you go to a hormone replacement therapy clinic, they provide that protocol, and within 2 weeks your brain is functioning better, within 2 weeks your sleep is better, and within 2 weeks you feel like you have more, like, overall, like, a smoothness of your life force energy throughout the day, you're more productive, like, all of the impacts that come from low testosterone are resolved. That's just bringing us up to level. So I'm a little feisty about this one because I would love to continue to compete in natural federations, but by the book, they won't let me, even though I'm not on PEDs and I'm not on anabolics, and nothing about my body as it is now, 3 months into HRT, would suggest that I'm an enhanced athlete.
And so that's the thing with always people we think about bodybuilding. It's the big thing is steroids. They're always going to equate it with steroids because it's so easy. Because here's the thing I've learned: steroids is only a small factor of your growth. You have to follow your diet, your routine. You have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. The steroids just help for like recovery. You're doing injuries, and like I said, people don't think women have to. Men and women, we share some biological similarities. We do have testosterone, like we have estrogen, and you need that testosterone hit you to push that extra more. Especially when you get older, your body changes. It's not like when you're in your 20s, your 30s, where your body's still developing, growing, but then you're going to decline. It takes a lot longer to lose weight because right now, I am, like I said, I'm 50, and it was a few years ago, I was almost 500 pounds. And then after my mom passed, I took care of her for a long time, and she passed. I said, you know what, it's time for me to take care of myself. I went to my doctor's office. I gained a little weight because of the holidays like that. And plus, I'm not exercising much like I used to because I got issues with my knees. And I gained about maybe 7 pounds back, but not much because I was thinking about it. I was almost 500. And that's the thing about this, that women's bodies are different compared to men. And y'all do menstruate. Y'all do because y'all bear children. We don't. We're just this one just jump on top of you and then it's over. But there's so many biological difference between men and women. And I think maybe the organization will see that, but the thing is always going to be steroids. And not all steroids is used for bulking and building. People who are on cancer use steroids. Steroids are in birth control, inhalers. It's just different forms of it. We got some comments here. We got here my man. Got to talk with him. He's a fan. My man Balls Deep coming through. He says, "What's up, and salute? What's up, salute to your brother." Also, he says, "Good afternoon, gorgeous." He's a fan. Also, his another Monica, Chicago in here. Thank you, brother. Welcome. Says. Also, he says, "Smash that like button." And one more, his favorite says, "Schmo gang, 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 gang." I'm part of that gang. I know that. So, thank you, Ballsy, my brother. And yeah, this is a process of the work you got to put into. And I know it's tough, that especially as an aspect as a woman to build muscle, and especially kind of be natural. Because I know NPC is trying to go the natural route, but if you're taking certain these things helping with your going premenstrual stuff like that, that does hurt you. But you know what? Maybe it's an open door for opportunities for you to go, farther in your career as a bodybuilder.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at peace with the fact that I don't meet criteria to compete in a natural federation because I'm on medically recommended hormone replacement therapy. I'm totally at peace with that because the longevity of my life takes priority over any kind of win. right? I mean, it is my goal to compete this year, 2025, in the Masters National Show, and to hopefully earn that pro card. Having an extra long off season at this point, because my prep was only 10 weeks long, so kind of what we got to kind of like pare down from last off season and see what we built, and we were really happy with what we were seeing, and so to go right back into off season and be growing from there, which was September of last year until July of 2025, is a great off season. And so we're really hoping to put on some size. I think my dancer background is a huge plus for me when it comes to posing. Also have an amazing posing coach, Christina Mendoza, KJ Posing on Instagram. Amazing Olympian athlete. You and I were just oohing and on about her from your stories today. So yeah, I think with Coach D on my side, Christina on my side, and my own just hard all or nothing work ethic, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful to earn that card this year. But yeah, so I'll be solidly NPC until I get there.
Yeah, and that's the KJ is her husband Joey. I remember a friend of mine. He was at a show. Joey's really, really proud of his wife. He's very vocal. A couple of guys I know,
Like the trophy wife of the century.
A couple of guys I know, they were at the year when she was at the Rising Phoenix. He said Joey was really loud. Another friend of mine, she was at Tampa last year. He was really loud. I mean, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's good. That you ever been to a show with her yet, or you just?
I haven't seen her on stage yet. No, but that's a dream. That's definitely on the short list.
She does has a great physique. She's top 5 in the world in women's bodybuilding. I know she hated to miss out. Was the year before because she was dealing with some issues. Fan of the physique. I think she's a great physique. Very feminine, great look to her.
Yes.
I posted comment stuff on my social media. She's responded sometimes. I mean, I think she has a great look, very feminine. She's one person who I'm a fan of, and I'm always gonna be a fan of hers.
Yeah, and in terms of her coaching style, I crossed over figure and physique in 2023, and I had Autumn Cleveland as my figure coach up until I moved to women's physique, and then I kind of had to do a little bit of searching and really looking at whose styles that I like, other competitors who had coached with them, getting their feedback, and landed with Christina. And the beautiful thing about working with her, so she's in bodybuilding, I'm in physique, but she has this absolute commitment to finding the most aesthetically pleasing and personality revealing, coaching style. So it's yes, I'll send her pictures of competitors or routines and stuff, and I'm I really like this and I really like that, and it always comes down to, let's try it. Let's see if it looks good on your body with your angles, your proportions, your density. She's really taking everything into account. And in the end, she respects, because my confidence on stage is going to be the make or break of how I do, because energy matters. I know that might sound woo woo, but as a therapist, I get to tell you that the way that you feel is felt by the people around you. And that can be scientifically measured up to 10 feet outside your body, because your nervous system is vibrating all of the water in your body, and that is changing what's happening around you. So even though the coaches are the judges are far away at their table, you resonating in the energy of I fucking own this. And the posing and the style and the transitions and just what you're bringing. I love that Christina is just a fierce advocate for, send me everything that you like. And then we put it on you and you move through it and you feel into it. And ultimately, if it all comes together, then let's do that. So she's not like a cookie cutter that's here's my little repertoire of positions that I want you to do, or that I think are good, and everything else is just whatever. She's very creative and very respectful like that.
Yeah, I think she's pretty good. I know she's working with Hunter Henderson. I think she was working with Susan Graham a while back. I think she also, I remember she was a couple of years when she was at the Rising Phoenix, she won the Best Poser Award. It was her. A lady who was a friend of mine, Janine Lukowski. She's one of the really good posers. There's the real Rose Lane, Rachel Daniels. She's very popular. Yes. One guy they really worked with. I just interviewed a young lady. Her name is Robbie Carlson, and she's a young up and comer. She has a great physique, great look to her. And I think one person they talk about is also Kai Green. That's the one person they really say that really inspires them. But I would say one of my favorite persons of all time in the sport with bodybuilding is, I can't help myself, Doc. It's Andrea Shaw.
Oh yeah, big fan, big fan.
I, she's just so beautiful. I love pulling this out because other guy says you do something for free, always get paid for it. So, and this is a friend of mine was at the Olympia back in 2020. She got this issue, and this is what motivates me as a content creator, especially when the champ does this.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
And
a real person, right? Like she really, you can tell from everything that she puts out, and even when she's on stage, like just the genuineness of her smiles, the way that she comes into her poses, and you just can see she's confident, but she's humble. She's not wearing a mask. She's really bringing her true self there, and it's kind and it's warm and it's genuine. That's so attractive.
like she uh what's going on? Oh,
I know
yeah,
it just
she is
cut out.
just yeah. It was issues. My I need to get a new computer. I had this one for a while. My sister gave it to me. So yeah, but yeah, she has a great look to her. All these ladies are beautiful. I'm a fan. I mean, I've been following bodybuilding for a long time, and I'll admit my crime. I am a muscle person. I just find y'all ladies just so scintillating and irritating. But I really doing this content and reach out to you ladies. I get to know what makes y'all click, what makes y'all, live in such a, as I said again, very, most people see it's very masculine sport. We have here content. We have here a new follower here. Shout outs to, this is my man here, Baby Terror Child. He says, interesting topic. Thank you, brother. Also, he says his name is Chris Jordan here. Love you, Sierra. So
Oh,
this is a
Jim
friend of
Poppy
yours?
Chris. Oh my God. Yes. Jim Poppy Chris is a power lifter, probably going to cross over to bodybuilding someday. But he is making big waves and changes in the lives of women in Santa Barbara, but all over the place because of his online coaching. I mean, y'all just got to go check him out. Jim Poppy Chris on Instagram. Love that man. Just a genuine heart to serve, knows his stuff. And he and I align. We've done a couple of lives together because he and I really align on this idea of women's empowerment from the ground up. You mentioned something earlier that kind of sticks with this too, when you were talking about women bodybuilders and children who have children, and just kind of like, or families, and what it's like in this particular sport versus like a football or a tennis or any of those other kind of sports, because there is a stigma around sort of the perception of vanity that comes with bodybuilding. And yes, we can be annoying when we're in the gym and we finish a set and we're like popping our delts between every set, or we're checking our bicep between every set, and it looks like we're just worshiping ourselves, but really we're just trying to see the activation, right? But in the sense of like women's empowerment, meaning taking up all of our space, women taking up space in the gym, on the floor, where the weights are. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about Chris's work with women, is like he's getting them in there under the barbell. He's getting them in there doing heavy powerlifting style lifting. He is changing bodies and changing mindsets through that work. And I know for me, as the mother of boys, it was really hard for my sons when I started bodybuilding. One of them is a basketball guy. He's been a baller since he was a little thing. And he was the first person outside of my coach and maybe like two friends at the gym who I told, hey, I think I'm going to do bodybuilding, but you got to keep it a secret, because I knew there was the stigma around it. And he was like, totally support you, Mom. Love you. Go get it. Okay. Now I'm going and getting it. I'm training hard. I dress for the job that I want. So I'm coming in with my bombshell fitness and my violate the dress code, and I am cute and I am fierce, and I want to embody the empowerment that bodybuilding is for me. And then over time, as you start to compete and your sons, this is my experience. I don't know if other women have had this experience, but it can be uncomfortable, especially if they're in a more conservative lifestyle, which my boys are. To have your mom, 6 feet tall on hooker heels on a stage in a tiny sparkly bikini, flexing her everything in front of an audience of hundreds of people, to be judged and to be evaluated and to want to win based on that aesthetic. And I will say that my boys and I, had a couple of bumpy years as I moved into this sport. I don't think they even like follow a lot of my content on Instagram because, you know, I'm almost 50, and I'm single. So it's like, what are you doing, mom? Who are you? What are you becoming? And it's like, well, my goal is to become the very best version of myself from the ground up, feet on the ground, pushing heavy weight, building the actual substance of my body, watching how it's building this mindset of, if I can lift this heavy weight, I can do anything, right? Like, so the heaviness of the weight becomes like this analogy for the heaviness of life. If I can change my body, then I can change my relationships. If I can set boundaries around the time that I am going to spend in the gym, and nobody gets that time but me, I can set healthier boundaries with all sorts of people in my life. If I can succeed at this, I can succeed in my business. If I can learn to love myself and prioritize myself, I might be allowed in my own mind to do that in areas of my life where I have been giving my power away. So, the impact that bodybuilding as a sport can have on us as people trying to become the best versions of ourselves in the context that we find ourselves, whether it's in motherhood or in business or in education or in spirituality, your relationship to anything power greater than yourself, and what you're allowed to do and how you're allowed to live your life. Like, it is a much bigger conversation than just how much PR, like what's your PR on this or that or other thing.
Yeah, because I think, like I said, I grew up with three sisters, me, my brothers, my niece and nephews, coming from a big family. My mom had to raise them. My parents were together for 55 years, even though my dad was living in New Jersey. We're still here in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and especially for a boy's best friend is his mother. You are the first women we love. Girlfriends and wives go away. Like I said, my mom's been gone for almost 5 years, and I miss her.
Mine
You know,
too.
and I know it's tough. Because I can understand the stripper here. I used to work at a strip club, and guys be excited to see you guys in the heels, but then you got to think about it. These are your boys, and the
Yeah.
last thing you want to do is they go to a show, and you there to support your mom. She comes out in this sparkly bikini. She's all
Yeah.
buffed out, shiny and
Yeah.
vascular. You got guys in the audience says, "Who's that tall
Yeah.
chick with water baby?"
Yeah. I got
Yeah,
to tell you,
who's that?
like my boys haven't been to a show. My daughters have been, two of my daughters have been. One would probably come, but she goes to school out of state. But, my eldest daughter and my youngest daughter have been to shows. And I was so grateful for that because they got to see me taking up that space and like expanding into like full ownership of my body. I don't know if the guys listening can understand this, because like what you said earlier, you guys make your contribution to the process of having children, but then we let our bodies get taken over by a process of bringing life from from nothing, right? Like, here we are, like, not having, I'm not pregnant right now, but in that process, like something coming to being from nothing, we let our bodies be completely consumed by that. Our bone marrow, our blood cells, everything used to construct this person, then we birth them. And now this like piece of us is walking around in the world, like having a life and thoughts and whatever of its own accord. And we have this process of like, yes, we are bonded to them in such a way that we feel this like need to, I don't know, maybe this is just for me, but like there has been a part of this where it's like I've wanted to or needed to conform to my children's expectations of me because they're a part of me. And so that process of taking that power back and saying, no, this is, I loaned my body to the birthing of 5 children, but it belongs to me. And I'm allowed to decide if I want to build muscle. I'm allowed to decide if I want breast implants. That was another big, big issue. Like, my kids were like, who are you? Like, nature freak therapist lady? Like, what are you doing? And it was like, well, it's my body. I won't be nursing any more babies. And bodybuilders, we go down to like what, 6%, 3% body fat. There's nothing left. So, it's like, this is mine. This is my vehicle for this incarnation. I get to do with it what I want. And maybe it took me until I was 50 years old to decide that. Better late than never.
Yeah, that's the thing is that this is the purpose of men. Our purpose is to breed, battle, and to die. That's it. Like Conan.
about
like Conan,
provide? Can we put provide in there?
that's in there too. But but like Conan, you crush your enemies, so you do it for you, and he's the limitation of the women. But this is the thing is with y'all women, especially with sport like bodybuilding, you're taking and changing the aspects what's considered feminine. You're building muscle, which is not often people see. Women, you have muscles. You have a stronger lower center of gravity compared to men because in the legs like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just something different. And that's the thing about society. Women supposed to be the nurturer. You're supposed to be soft. You're supposed to be feminine. Yes, I know some ladies who get the breast implants. I'm not a big fan of breast implants, depending on how you get them, because
Mm-hmm.
I know it makes you more feminine looking.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the standards, especially for the bodybuilding.
Right.
We had appreciation, your body, your look, your development.
Right.
But that's the tough part. That I think instead of getting go back to your sons, you know, I know they want to go, but someday they got to do it because this is their mom. They want to support you. But I feel you're afraid of maybe fighting some guys in the audience and saying something about their mom. But yeah, it's a tough thing about this, folks. While we have Sierra here, we're going to jump to her social media for a little bit. We want to follow her. The link of her links are in the live of this video. Also, as you know, she's a therapist. So if you want to check her out, this is her. Let's say she's Jim Rat 2 805 35 335 1915. So if you are someone who's just maybe needing help with family issues or just something like that, you want to talk to her, there is her. You can text her here, and that's the number do you want to text to. So you want to check her out. So folks, we're gonna do this. We're gonna jump into Sierra so maybe in a minute. So one thing, guys, I do this here as a disclaimer because it's just no offense to you, a disclaimer, guys. No D pics. Stop it. I know she's tall drinking water. Yeah, I know you guys out there. I know you guys. I'm one of you guys, but I'm more. I'm not reformed, Sierra. I'm just sometimes a little bit more calm with my perceptivity. But you guys understand. This is a lady. She had time to talk with me. She got kids. She got still a baby at home. Be respectful. Guys. I know you guys. You get excited with these ladies. But hey, you get more with a silk glove than Iron Fist. I know what you're doing that Iron Fist. So, folks, we're going to jump into her social media for a bit here. You want to follow the links are in the description of this live. And here we got some here. You competed. You were planning on competing in 2024. What happened?
Yeah, so in my grid, there's a video where I'm sharing about what some of the health impacts that came. You'll also see a bunch of Jim Poppy Chris's powerlifting comps because I went live for him so that everybody could follow along that can be there. But yeah, so I was 10 weeks in and my legs started swelling up like really scary. I remember showing up at the 3D gym completely unannounced, just sobbing to coach saying like, I look like shit. What is going on? Why are my numbers off? All of this stuff. And, radical transparency with your coach is a really valuable thing. And even though I was turning in numbers and check-ins twice a day, the key piece of information that I didn't share with him was how often I was hitting the sauna. And I know that might sound like a really small element to an overall training protocol, but in 10 weeks of prep, being, in a deficit, training hard, extra cardio, it really threw off my whole chemistry. They did every kind of test you could possibly imagine, from ultrasounds for blood clots in my legs to I think it MRIs that do the soft tissue to check for heart enlargement or any valve issues, like what was going on with my circulation. It really was just chemical. And it was, whacked out electrolytes and inability to hydrate properly. Just a lot of impacts from the overextension of sauna plus cardio plus deficit. That all just kind of derailed me, and it was really sad because all I had to do was disclose that one extra thing that I was doing outside of all of the rest of my planned protocols with coach. And he would have told me. He would have told me straight up, don't be doing that. But I didn't think it was a big deal. I love my ritual of doing saunas in the morning, and that far into prep, it was just it tanked me. So, but like I said, the silver lining was learning that my testosterone was super low, and getting that recommendation has really made my quality of life so much better getting on that. So Yeah, it was really sad.
Yeah.
I cried every day in the gym for about a month.
Yeah. Here's the video here. We're gonna pop it up. We're gonna play it here. We're gonna listen.
So that's the post video.
Hey you guys, so I'm ready to give you an update on all of the health things that have been going on since September 17th, and today being November 18th. It's almost exactly 2 months from the day that I visited the ER. And I'm so grateful for all of y'all who have been checking in with me and asking how I'm doing and how I'm feeling. I will say, like, the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks after all of that happened, I pretty much just cried every day in the gym. It was really hard to let go of prep, really hard to let go of my competition goals for this year. But looking back over everything that's happened for the last 2 months, it was absolutely the right choice. And of course, my coach would never have let it be any other way. Really grateful to him for how just absolutely clear he was at the beginning of everything. You know, when I got home from the ER visit, I texted him a like 7 point, bullet point breakdown of like, okay, here's what they're saying, so here's what I'm going to do, and what do you think about this? And I think if we do this and this and this, we can stay on prep and like keep competing. And he just like I don't even think he read it all. Like the amount of time, like the speed with which he responded to that, it was like, this is a no-brainer. We're coming off prep. So I'm just grateful for his clarity and decisiveness, because I definitely would have tried to do the humanly possible and just push through that. But so here's what kind of like the takeaway is from all of that. While I was on prep, I was probably saunaing too much. I definitely was taking too many nutritional supplements. That was all my fault. Like, I was just choosing to take extra things that I thought were going to help me, when in fact they basically ended up kind of doubling up on, or not fully doubling up on, but just taking more than what my body could handle of certain key vitamins and minerals. The extra saunas, plus the cardio, plus the training, plus the I was actually overhydrating. I don't know if y'all knew that that's a thing, but it's actually a thing. I was drinking too much water, and it was all of that together was throwing off my electrolytes. So between asking my kidneys to process extra vitamins, and also sort of like impairing my body's ability to regulate the electrolytes, I ended up with really significant edema from the top of my hips all the way down to my toes. And it was very, very concerning. Like, it hurt physically. And that's why we thought maybe there was a blood clot. But as y'all know, there was no blood clot. There was no heart enlargement. We did echocardiograms, no issues with the heart valves, any of those parts. We also did an MRI to make sure there weren't any like growths or anything weird going on with my organs in my pelvis. Everything was fine. We did all the blood work, all of that part you guys already know. So fast forward 2 months, been really off plan. It's been a humbling experience. So been very much off plan, gained more weight than I wanted to, had an in-body done today, coming to terms with my choices around what my body fat percentage is now, together with my cumulative weight. And my visit to the hormone replacement therapy clinic was to address the low testosterone that was identified in all of that blood work. They, of course, doing due diligence, did extra blood work to see like where all the other hormones were as well. And so it became apparent that there were some deficits in my esters and also in my progesterone. So this is the beginning of a new phase of my bodybuilding. It had been my intention to stay natural by the letter of the law for my competition life. And I'm just really clear that the level of testosterone that I have, which is literally a single digit number, is not acceptable. and that some of the symptoms that I've been having, like difficulty sleeping or getting enough rest when I sleep, some mood impacts, energy impacts, brain fog, hair loss, like there are some things that balancing out those hormones is really going to help with. And for the longevity of my life, like not even just for like the bodybuilding part, the benefits of testosterone for the bodybuilding part, but like just for the longevity of my life, like this is medically indicated. So even though that will prevent me from competing in any natural federations, I'm at peace with that because I know in my relationship with God that I was slowed down for a reason during these last 2 months. And it's given me some really important insights to myself. My complete lack of discipline, not complete lack. I mean, I've been in the gym, I've been training hard.
Yeah, that's really tough. I know a lot of athletes, when they get hit with something like some kind of medical issue, it really sets them back, and it's hard to climb out of that hole. Like, you competed in 2023, you were doing physique and figure. It was a show.
Yeah, in 2023, I did the UNBA and went pro there. And then I did the Titans Grand Prix and won my overall in women's physique there. So yeah, the 2024 plan was to ride on the tailcoats of the overall from the year before and go take on that Masters National show.
Yeah, because you have to re-register because you was overall 2023, but I think it's a year, and
Yeah.
I don't know if they can still let you. You have to do
I mean,
another.
what we heard last year, because we had another teammate compete in that Masters National show, and we learned through her other friends who competed there that some of them had not won overalls, and in fact hadn't even competed in the NPC in the previous 365 days. So I don't know if the rules have changed. Obviously, I'll just do whatever it takes to be ready for that show this year. I mean, obviously, we're still. I mean, that's our goal. That's our peak goal. So we will plan. We're starting prep July 1, and we will decide which shows we're going to do between there and the Masters National to make that qualifying appearance.
Okay, we have your guest here. Is it Rada? Is it Rada Fitness? I believe RRIDA Fitness. I don't know who that is. It might be somebody you know. It might
No,
have you might know them. Yeah,
do
it says
Instagram.
yeah, Instagram. So thank you for coming through. Yeah, that's tough. What you went through
Yeah.
because I know a while back I was working out and then my hair was like it, and I found out I wasn't hydrating enough, and I take medication because I have a pacemaker because I have issues with my
Uh-huh.
heart, and I
Yeah.
need to take medication to, especially I take LASIK, which try to keep the
Mm.
water from around my
Mhm.
fluid right from around my heart. And if
Mhm.
I don't drink enough water, then I'll get it affects my kidneys, everything else. It's
Yeah.
one of these things that happen, especially with genetics like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's part about it. But one thing
Yeah.
is, what got you into therapy? How what get you into working with people and doing family therapy? How you
Yeah.
started that?
Thank you for asking that. Um, the there are many models of career development and models for determining purpose in life. And I remember seeing one along the way called Ikigai, Ikigai. And it's a Japanese concept that's akin to the idea of purpose. And it was this Venn diagram with purpose in the center and four overlapping concepts. And those concepts were: what are you good at? What do you love? What does the world need? And what can you be paid for? And when all four of those things connect, that is Ikigai. And so I was looking at my life after my divorce in 2012. I had been a stay at home mom for 15 years, and I had homeschooled my 5 kids. And so, with that kind of a profile, I didn't have work experience. I had a bachelor's degree, I had no job experience. And to leave that marriage was really an act of self-preservation. And my lawyer, I remember at the time, just kind of like taking me by the shoulders and saying, you need to go back to school and you need to retool, because you cannot expect this man to fund all of your life with these 5 kids. Like, this is now a 2-household family, and you need to figure out what's going to be your part to help support your family. And some of the unfortunate impacts of certain types of relationships can be an introjected belief system that is put in there by other people. And so through my life history, I had introjected a story that going back to school at 37 or 40 was impossible. And that after being a stay-at-home mom for 15 years, there was no way that I was going to be successful as an academic again. And who was going to want to hire me when I had been at home for 15 years, just raising my family? And it took me 3 years to get it through my head that I was still actually amazingly intelligent, and I was a hard worker, and that I had gifts to bring to this world that were including and beyond my work as a mother. And so in looking at that chart, I realized, like, what am I naturally good at? I'm naturally good at nurturing. I'm naturally good at communicating. I'm naturally good at supporting. I'm naturally good at helping. And I am that, like, therapist of the friend group, right? Like, I'm the person that a lot of people call to ask, like, what should I do? How can I move through this? And I also am a naturalist. And I find some of the greatest healing for my life and other people that I've known has been in the encounter between the human and the natural world. And for me, that's also a spiritual experience, because I believe that God is at work through all things. And in the natural world, we get a certain experience of that. And so I was like, okay, so I'm good at helping people. I'm really good at reading nature. I have a desire to help. How do I get paid to do that? And then it was like, well, does the world need what you have? Yes, people always have problems. People always need someone that they can trust and turn to and know that that person has no agenda on their life, that they are going to listen without judgment, and that they're going to offer things that I wouldn't think of by myself. Okay, great. So I'm good at it, and the world needs it. And I know that people are paid for it, because I was paying a therapist at the time $150 to help me get the sanity back into my life. And I love it. Like, I love being a helper. So then it was like, okay, so what do I need for the world to recognize that as a skill and something that is worth exchanging money for that time and that expertise? Oh, I need a degree. Going back to school. Okay, my lawyer said to do that. Master's in clinical psychology. Got it. As that was all forming, my father died. And it was very unexpected. It wasn't very unexpected. He had end-stage renal failure, but we were given a timeline by the doctors that was about 5 years. And his system started failing much sooner. And he died really unexpectedly. And it shocked me and my brother. It was a very difficult time. But I remember sitting in his apartment, because my brother couldn't do this part, the part of like dismantling our dad's life, or the after effects of his life. So I was in his apartment and I was going through his stuff, and he died, in ill health and with limited resources. And it was really depressing to be there. And I just remember, like, saying to him and to myself and to God, like, I really don't want to die like this. And I didn't know how to, like, create that pathway for success for myself. And I heard him as clear as day, and I'm deaf on my right side. I have this here so I can talk to you in the microphone. So I'm holding all this stuff of my dad's, and I'm just crying out to the universe. I'm like, I don't want to die like this. And from this side, my deaf side, I heard a male voice, and I, to this day, believe it was my father's spirit. He said, you're going back to school. You're going to Antioch. You're going to be a therapist. I have no idea how you're going to pay for it, but that's what you're going to do. And that would be exactly what my dad would say. My dad would be exactly the guy to be like, well, this is what you should do. I have no idea how you're going to pay for it, but that's what you should do. I was just like, put the shit down. I picked up the phone. I called Antioch University, and I was like, hi, I'm coming there for a master's in clinical psychology. You need to tell me how I'm going to pay for it. And they hooked me up with the financial aid people. I took all the loans and I enrolled. And that was the beginning of my journey as a therapist in 2015.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I went to school for a little bit. I went to community college. I studied kinesiology, and I still have a loan left over. But yeah. But yeah, I can tell you, I took care of my mother for almost 6 years, and she was dealing with, she was early stage of dementia. She had a stroke. She had several seizures, and I don't have the luxury of having children. I don't have any. I've been a bachelor. Call me Bruce Wayne without the money and the Batman. So, and and it's difficult to watch somebody who you see, especially for young women. The first true man in your life is your father, the man in your life. He's the one that represents anything out there in the future when you want to be a man. For us boys, it's mother, because my mother, she raised, because I quote my other guy sometimes. My father was a drunk and a fiend. And my mother never liked it, not one bit. He's been gone for 10 years, but I remember before he passed, me and him as men came together and we made our peace. But to see someone like your mother and your father going through something like that, to do with it, and you raising kids and going through a bad marriage and finding yourself and finding something, because I know I tell you the truth. When I started this content and I become friends with ladies, sometimes we have to sit and talk. I remember a few times I sit and talk with some ladies. So you know what? Maybe I should get into this, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to do all that schooling. I got out of high school and I was done after that. But then I did go back to school for a little bit. But it's good that you found something for you, and it helps you. Plus, also with the bodybuilding. Both of those things that really help. Because I know what again is when I talk to you ladies, I'm trying to understand. Like I said again, I am just a muscle person smile, but when I get to talk to you ladies and I'm saying what took you to get into this life, to work out, to train, to build your body, and also to find time to raise children, to have a job, a career. Bodybuilding, again, is not a very lucrative sport. For like I say this like
for
this,
the majority of it unless you become pro and Olympian level.
yeah, and then usually for you ladies, it's more expense, because for the guys, I keep saying this, the guys got to wear a pair of banana hammers and board shorts.
Yep.
You ladies, you have to have your hair done, your makeup done, your suits right there. That's a mortgage or rent of a house. Travel to shows. Yeah, like because you say you were doing the other shows where it was closest for you to do shows, but then especially when you get to the level like the NPC, IFBB, you have to go to where the big shows are.
Yep.
If you crack in the top three, it's not much, because
it evaporates. I mean, cost of training, cost of gym, your suit's $1,000. Like, guys, our suits are like $1,000. Like, give us a break.
Yeah, banana ham's board shorts is barely $100. Right? If you get a designer kind,
just pay for the dinner, okay, guys? Just pay for the dinner.
If I'm paying for the dinner, I want something. Yeah, I pay. Hey, I got to get something out of this. No. I remember. I think the whole Hollywood said there's no such thing as a free lunch. But but when you get to sport, you do it for a passion. Yeah. And what you're doing between the bodybuilding and the therapy, that is something as a passion. Helping out people. Yeah. And we were talking about how I talked to some ladies, and we talked about how it's important to get help psychologically, because there's a lot of things involved with bodybuilding. There's issues of body dysmorphia. Yep. That's one of the biggest things, because because you're trying to build your body, then you see yourself say, I don't think I'm good enough.
We don't see ourselves correctly. And I think part of why I launched the Gym Rat Therapist, which is, one arm of my clinical and performance coaching practice. I launched the Gym Rat Therapist because I was looking for a therapist once I made that decision in 2021 to compete, and I realized, like, the absolute, as Coach D says, never less than everything. It is 100% nutrition. It is 100% training. It is 100% drinking your water. It is 100% getting your sleep. It is 100% doing your cardio. It is 100% reducing your relationship stress. It is 100% making enough money so that you don't have financial stress. It's 100% everything. And when you do that, your center of your universe shifts. So, for example, the relationship that I was in when I did that, that man occupied a lot of that central space. And with my children, right? My whole life was oriented around my children's schedules, his schedules, meal times together, all of that. Oh, all of a sudden, mom isn't eating the same food that we are. Oh, all of a sudden, I'm going to bed earlier than my partner wants to go to bed, i.e., reducing access, right? Like, so then, like, everything has to shift around the protocols of bodybuilding. And if there are codependent relationships going on, if you are in a pattern where you have been prioritizing everybody or anybody than yourself, that shit hits hard and people push back. There is this thing that we talk about in therapy called homeostasis, and that's the like general way in which your systems work. People expect you to conform to the norms that have been going on, and when you start to shift, they will push back and pull back to try to get you to do it the way that they've always known it, because they have benefits of you decentering yourself. And so when we take on bodybuilding, and I'll just stay with that as the sport of topic, yeah, everything shifts, and there is a mindset that goes into that. There are self permissions that go into that. There are systems changing that go into that. And for women especially, and those of us who are mothers or who are older, issues of identity, issues of body dysmorphia, looking at ourselves in the mirror, having our vision of what we want to be and seeing that we're not there yet, and just doing the whole like, I'm never good enough, I'm not going to be there, I'm not going to get there. And it's like, at 10 weeks of prep, I thought I looked like shit. I look at those pictures now and I'm like, oh my God, I was so on track. I looked amazing. If I had been able to finish that prep of 20 weeks, dude, it would have been Shredsville. But we don't see ourselves accurately. And so we also don't see ourselves internally accurately either. And if we go just only to the people that are in our friend group or our family, they don't see us accurately either, because they benefit from us seeing ourselves the way they want us to see ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when
So
I
that's
do,
why I started to blend these two.
yeah, because when I do content, especially ladies that become friendly with, we have content. People on the outside, especially the everyday person, when you see women like with muscle, it's kind of offensive. It's like there be comments like, "You're trying to be a man," but here's the thing: is, oh, this is a beautiful lady right here. I don't see nothing manly about it. Maybe some women maybe get a little bit masculine, but here's the thing about being a man. I'm 50. So again, I'm 50 also, and it took me a time to become a man. It took me time of growing up to do like this. You cannot be a man by physical appearance. It's something that takes
Alone.
time, a state of
Yes.
mind. It's like
Yes.
one thing a woman can never do. I can never be a woman, but there's also that flip side of us guys who are fanny ladies. Like we see ladies, y'all in shape, y'all on your stage in the posing suits. There's a small shade when you ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard. But we understand that there's a lot to take to get that up. And again, I've talked to a couple ladies that they told me that they have gotten divorced because they got into bodybuilding because
Yeah.
because the husband didn't understand where they're getting, and friends and families have changed.
Yes.
Like especially when you're eating, when you go
Yes.
to events, you can't eat everything like just summer just passed,
Yep.
holidays. You can't eat everything. Like I know you got a 15-year-old home. I know
Yep.
she likes to eat this and that, but
Mhm.
mom, not in the mood for that. Can I
Yeah.
have
You got to make food and still eat your own food. Yes, I will make you spaghetti. No, I will not eat it. That is a really hard moment. That is what I call a fuck it moment. I know, coach. I know my numbers are off. I had to make this food for Miranda. I needed to taste it to make sure it was right. Oh, really? You needed to do that? You don't think she could have just told you?
Yeah, the thing is, that's bodybuilders. Y'all are absolutely, even though y'all have extreme, eating habits, y'all are the biggest foodies. Like, especially when I asked the question, especially your last competition back in 2023. You just show. Then there's the other guy that's like, tell me, Sierra, what was that thing that was calling you? That thing that you desired the most? Share with me. Share.
Oh,
Give me
God.
come on, give me. What is that? Anarchy and
This is like
chaos.
the voice of my inner demon. Everybody knows that I literally love donuts. Like literally when coach said you can have a donut when you walk off stage, I was like, sign me up. Where's the line? I just put my name down. I'm in. Old fashioned glazed donuts. That's my kryptonite right there. But yeah, I mean, I'm from the South. I think you and I talked about that. I'm from South Carolina. We are
North Carolina.
raised to we practice preventive eating, right? Like we eat just in case we might get hungry later. And food and family are deeply intertwined, right? Like we have so many traditions around meal times in and of themselves, but then also like foods that get eaten at certain times of year for certain traditions. And if you're in prep, tough shit, you know? And so there's like that sense of like, oh, you don't love us anymore because you're not doing the thing. And it's like, no, it's not about you. It's actually about me. And it's okay that it's about me because
Yeah.
in my case, life has been about you for a very long time. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
And the thing, being South is traditional because like this year Thanksgiving, my sister and my two older sisters and my nephews went out of town to visit my oldest niece. I was at home and I cooked myself a little something, not too fancy, a little ham, a little this, a little that. My first Thanksgiving went out to family. But then we went to my sister's house for Christmas, had rice and chicken and turkey and ham and collards and all, and it's just food is just it's a thing, and especially being a fat man, it's just one thing is it's comfort. Here we got a comment from my man Lawrence Perkins. Shout out to Lawrence coming through. He says, "Good afternoon, Sierra, George, and everyone on the chat. Happy Saturday. Thank you, brother." I tell you, Sierra, when I get a new girl out here, it's like the Chappelle show. Say, "Hey, George got a new girl. He found the motherfucker." So they get excited, But yeah, there's so much to the sport. People need to understand the factors of it, grow and develop it. Like I said again, everybody's mindset is mostly is always saying steroids, you take steroids, and then the everyday person, like you said again, most women back in the day say, if I lose 10 pounds, I think I'm gonna be Arnold Schwarzenegger. No.
Right. We wish it was that easy, sis. We really do. We wish it was that easy.
You mentioned early the fit model division, excuse me. I mean, I don't care much about that. Here's the thing is, I've been following bodybuilding for a long time, and I've seen how it's evolved, how it was like back in the day, how even the figure competitors might outdo the ladies from back in the early 80s, like someone like Corey Everson. It's the evolution of an athlete.
Yeah.
And you're bringing in something that most women will be do as well, because I think it's more for teeny boppers. It's throwback bikini, like how physique division is more like maybe a throwback to film like Linda Murray, who's a lady I saw. I haven't met her. I saw her in person, but I never got a chance to talk to her. I need to talk to Lena Popa. I was in Savannah, my first bodybuilding show in my life. Got to meet Lena Popa. She's a beautiful woman, just amazing.
Yeah.
And and also they talk about donuts. Shaming Shia Oleg. I met her, did an interview with her. She also loved donuts. And what I learned from you ladies, you do this sport because it's a passion.
Yeah.
And people from the outside who don't understand it, because I'm like I said, I'm an outsider, but I'm a fan. And I do podcasts. We talk about this every Monday. We have a Must Talk Money Talk. We're going to do one tomorrow. We talk about how if you get a pro card now, you have to, if you don't be active for 3 years, that's going to be tough, because a lot of these people use that pro card
to build this.
Yeah, it's like being a electrician or a plumber. It's license and bonding.
Yeah.
This is from a man. Lawrence says, "Bless you, George." Yeah, nah, man, don't bless me. I'm just, like I said again, I'm just a muscle person, relaxed buff chick. That's why I do this. But but when your last competition, what was the feedback from the judges?
Yeah, so that would have been the Titans Grand Prix, where I won the overall for physique. And mainly quads, shoulders, lats, quads, shoulders, lats. That was just to gain size, basically. Proportions, they were appreciating my proportions. They just want them bigger. So, that's why I've been eating and sleeping and lifting. That's my goal right now, is just like eat, sleep, lift, just build it and I do think that testosterone overall is just helping, like, as I said, with the smoothing out of my energy throughout the day. I don't really feel like I'm like as depleted after a workout or at the end of the day. So that longevity piece seems to be kicking in. But I have 2 shoulder days, 2 leg days, and then I do back and try and chest and bi, and then I rest 1 day a week. So I'm enjoying that, because I feel like, if I can get that the shoulder size and density up while maintaining the proportions of front to back legs, just getting them bigger, I think we'll. I mean, back is looking great. Back is still like surprisingly for where I started. Back has become kind of like my best asset. So we're feeling confident.
Yeah, I know quite often the back is the thing that really, if you bring it up, everything can look good in the front, but
Right.
that back doesn't come in that conditioning,
Yeah.
it can hurt you. I've seen ladies
Yeah.
who run shows with their backs, or and also you doing figure, you have to have those round count,
Right.
delts and shoulders.
Yeah.
Which one you prefer, figure or physique?
For sure, physique. I mean, I told coach earlier, I was like, I kind of miss figure. Like I miss the like poise of it, but literally the entire time that I competed in figure, it was he and I were just in this like constant low key argument because I'm a dancer and I wanted to like take up space like with my transitions. I wanted to like bring more like to it, and he was like, "You're doing too much. Do less. Do less." And because like I told you, bodybuilding has been a process of reclamation, a process of taking up all of my space in my body and in the world. And if I'm being told to be smaller, that's really antithetical to where I feel that my trajectory is going. So we were like, maybe we should try physique. And we started putting those poses on my body, and it was like the like lion had been let out of the cage. Like I was in my element. I could take up all of the space and use more of the aesthetics. I had a broader posing vocabulary because it's basically classic, but for women. So it opened up all of these new angles and more floor work, like being on the floor. I love the 6 foot Amazon feel of being on stage with those 4-inch heels, but dude, and actually in the UNBA that year they didn't do a best poser award, but that one of the judges found me backstage after and was like, I'm really bummed that we didn't do a best poser award because you killed it. I would love to see you on stage again. So that made me feel really good, and I do feel like WPD is where I can bridge those worlds between the mass of bodybuilding and the beauty and flow and self-expression of my dance training. So yeah, I'm gonna stay in physique for a while. I told coach, I was like, well, even Chris Bumstead did a side quest. He was like, yeah, after he retired as a 6-time Olympian, like stay on focus, girl.
Well, like I said, you know what? I've been more a fan of women's bodybuilding for a long time. I wasn't too fan of physique. I call it watered down women's bodybuilding. But doing this content, I've interviewed ladies in, physique, some fitness competitors,
Mhm.
some bikini competitors. I even a while back I interviewed a wellness competitor. Some ladies did wellness as amateurs, but I got my first wellness
Right.
pro. A friend of mine, her name is Jada. She was actually she started out in figure. She was physique, then she was bodybuilding for a while. Went back to physique. Now she's doing wellness. You
Oh,
know,
wait,
I
is that
think
wait? Who is that?
her name is Jetta Beverly.
Okay,
I'll
I'll go
send you
look.
a link if you want to check her
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
And I think every person trying to find their place in the
yeah,
divisions. Like I
yeah,
think as you see, the sport has evolved with the years.
yeah.
If you go back to the early stages of, I think when I do interviews, ladies, I tell you who's the person we inspire. So it pop. Bailey Bailey's the first person that pop in their mind.
Mm.
Not big, too much fan of hers. Iris Cowles, I really respect her for what she had done for the bodybuilding. People like let's say Andrea, that's my girlfriend, and
Yeah.
I know I sound like stockish, but I think she's so beautiful, she's a great look to her. And I just think it's one thing is I'm not too much a fan of the divisions, as I call them, the TNA division. That's wellness and bikini. All you gotta do is run around, shake your butt. And I do have a little bit, I do figure I do see some aspects because many of those ladies eventually either go up to physique into women's bodybuilding. One lady who I'm a fan of, Ashley Jones, she was a figure competitor, then did
Mhm.
physique. Now she's
Mhm.
number 3 in the
Yeah.
world in women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, and she looks so good there. Like her overall shapes, the fullness of her muscle bellies, like I mean, she just looks joyful. And I think that's like one of my bodybuilding crushes is Manon Dutilly. She's been in figure forever, and then she made an announcement early, like last year, 2024, that she was going to go to WPD, and I think she did a show or two where I was just like, I can never not see this. And now she's decided to do wellness. And my heart was a little broken. I was like, oh, like my girl crush was going to be in WPD and now you're going to wellness. But it's like, where is your joy? I mean, I think for her, I haven't had this conversation with her, but my guess is you know, when you come down off the heels and you've got your foot back on the ground, it is a whole different feel. And the heels do bring out, you know, some more of that like oozy, you know, softness.
Femininity.
You know, yeah. I mean, and I get what you're saying about the TNA, but you know, I have a lot of respect for the grind that each body bikini and wellness have to do, because they do all of the divisions that all of the divisions have their own grind. You know, I have a like sort of bipolar feel about the fit model. On the one hand, I'm so stoked for all of the moms that are looking at the, you know, bikini gals and saying, oh, I wish I could look like that, but I never will, or doing all the stuff that I did at the beginning too. But finding a doorway in through fit model, like that grind of reclaiming yourself is worthy of respect. Wellness, those women could deadlift your freaking car. Like the 3 leg days a week, you got to respect it. Bikini, the level of like self-deprivation that the mental game they go through, you got to respect it. So I think wherever competitors land, is that where your joy is? For me, it was physique 100%. As soon as I started moving in those ways, I was just like, yeah, take over, you know, like, let's go. The stage belongs to me now.
Yeah, one thing is, I think everybody has the one things that works for them. Like I follow Mano. I think she has a great physique. I think she needs to stick with. I think she needs to stick with physique. Figure, if you don't have, this is what we say, like if you don't have those strong, I mean, wellness, you don't have those strong Afro aesthetics. That's why the Brazilians do so well. They have the bigger hips, the around the booties. They have those strong Afro aesthetics. It's harder if you don't have those. And I know I did an interview with a lady who she's a Bulgarian, and she got a pro card, was about a couple years ago in Romania, and women's bodybuilding, women's physique. And she told me how she was working out with, I think it was Yasha or Sheer, how she her name, the wellness queen. She was a Bulgarian doing Yasha. She was a Bulgarian doing Bulgarian switch with a Puerto Rican. And I mean, you know, and
very different bodies.
Very different bodies. And it's a lot of work. Like I said, again, I do respect these ladies. I do, but I'm like this. I mean, honest with you, the bikini and those bikini and wellness are basically species in my mindset. You did not grow and spawn off like the others. Like when women's bodybuilding started off, fitness came off of women's bodybuilding because ladies want to be a little smaller. They didn't want to be as big. Then, you know, here comes figure because ladies didn't want to do all the jump around chicken sweat. Then here comes physique because they want to look like the classic look of like me. And athletic look. But then I said again, if you saw the last Olympia, and you look at someone like Sarah Vilgus and how her body's evolved. Like I've seen a video of my friend Robbie, where she talked about how the aesthetics have changed. If you're seeing women with even in the getting styration in the glutes, and you see it in divisions, and you see abdominals in bikini competitors. But here's the thing is, I won't blame the athletes. It's up to the judges. You're the ones who set the criteria in the work. Instead of bringing another division, which is what's going to happen, is it's going to evolve. They say we're not going to do no crossover. But it's about money, and if you can cross over from fit model to bikini and make money and promoters make money from that, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. And that's one thing you talk about how it's, you know, some companies say it should be some crossovers, because if it's so easy, like I did interview a lady who earned her pro card in both physique and women's bodybuilding, and she looks more like physique, but she owned it because
is that Kara?
No, Kara was at the U.S.
She just got it in the Masters.
And also interview a lady who her name is Samantha. She competed at that same show. She got her pro card there. And I interviewed a lady also competed at that show, but she can get a pro card. Her name is Natalie Miller, and Natalie, she looks very more like the physique standard. Also, the interview of another lady, her name was Diana Perez, and she also got a pro card. Oh, you're Diana? She's cool.
I'm only her Instagram friend follower, but yeah, she knows that she's been one of my big idols for a while.
Yeah, we did last Sunday. We did a little. I do every so often, like every once a month, we try to do a Sunday get together, try to get the ladies on here to give some perspective of bodybuilding. She was on there last Sunday. She's a great, cool little lady. I want to say to her, thank you to her service. I won't say thank you for service, but I appreciate the sacrifice she has made as a citizen in the military. My oldest niece and my youngest nephew were in the military, and as the athletes evolve, instead of bringing in something is just going to evolve with sport, because bodybuilding is very influential in extreme sport. I know some women will say, like, I'm going to stay like this. But then we're
Right.
around a lot of these competitors.
Mhm.
After a while, you can't help but, you know what? Someone like to grow muscle. And
Mhm.
then you want to, follow the Andrea Shaws or the Sarah Vilgas or the Natalias or
Mhm.
Andrew Yo, or as you just saw, Mrs.
Yeah.
Trescott, she's
Yeah.
switching over
Yeah.
to figure.
Woohoo!
And this is, I'll
Right?
put up
I
quick.
mean, like, go where you love it. Go where you love
Yeah,
it and go where the feedback leads you. Like when I did
yeah,
that crossover here with figure and physique, I took second. Every class that I competed in figure, I was second, second, second. When I did the same show but WPD, first, first, first overall. So it's
yeah.
like the judges will tell you both through your placing and also in the feedback off stage, like they're again that objective eye to some degree that's seeing you differently than you see yourself, and like, yeah, go where you fit, go where it like makes sense for you.
Yeah, like here's an example here. Like I posted this a while back. Look at Sarah and look at Missy. Even
Yeah.
though Missy says she will never do women's physique, she's not too far from it. Or this one here, I took in it's actually this is one with Ashley Jones and Margie Martin. And this was when Ashley was still in women's physique. And this was
Yeah.
when Margie was in women's when her last competition back in 2022.
Wow.
It's said again, it's the evolution of every athlete as they grow and develop, as they change.
Mhm.
This is one of my favorites of Ashley. I love this one. I'm just like saying I just love this one because I just love.
That is so quad.
I mean, just her smile, and especially as a black man, I love black women with muscle. Just so beautiful. No offense to y'all white ladies, y'all look beautiful too, but just
That's
the natural
right.
melody is just so
I
beautiful. So, yeah, but like I said, this is a sport where there's a lot of sacrifices you got to make in time, money.
Mhm.
Relationships change. I know your brother ever come to your shows, or is he
My
what's his like?
brother has not. He's been in a pursuit of his doctoral in physical therapy and having a baby and building an amazing life on the East Coast. So, but he, because he also is an athlete and now a doctor of physical therapy, he is a huge supporter and he's always checking in on me and he's always sending me articles about why I shouldn't use any PEDs. And, if I have like weird stuff going on in my mechanics, I'll always like hit him up and be like, hey, bro, like, can you dock me for a second? Like, what's going on with my rotator cuff? So yeah, no, he's a great supporter.
I think he didn't want you to be like one day go up and say call his sister, hey sister, how you doing? He said, I'm doing fine. What we're about to do is family.
Right,
It's like
right.
Vin Diesel, like
Oh
it's
God. I
500
hope
man, I
not.
got a beat today. So,
I hope
yeah,
not. I want to be able to sing lullabies to my grandchildren and sound like
yeah.
like a grandmother, not like a dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, I'm a man. I don't have that deep of voice here, but but that is, I think, the aspect of any athlete is to get to the next level and to understand the work you put in. And your coach, shout out to 3D,
Mhm.
and they're doing great work with you. And um, I think, like again, people don't understand what it takes to be this sport. I say this when we go to the show, especially us fans, us muscle credit smells. We see y'all ladies and it's like, yeah, y'all jacked, y'all shredded, y'all little suits, y'all popping the muscles. We get excited, but we don't understand what it took you to get there. The
Mhm.
work, the sacrifice, dehydration, tired. Sometimes you're hungry, you're hangry,
Mhm.
and
A
there's so
lot of
much
the
involved in it. And then the other aspects of it, because sometimes it's like this. To quote my man Rocky Bolt, this can beat you down and bring you to your knees if you're not careful. But like I
yeah.
said, it's not, but
And
like
if
I
it
said,
doesn't, you're probably not doing it. I
yeah,
mean, like it's the same thing as if you're pushing weight in the gym and you're not making mean faces or grunts, you're probably not pushing hard enough. And if this sport doesn't humble you, if there aren't days when you are like crying and asking yourself, WTF am I doing with my life right now? You're probably not working your program the way that you could or should be to get where you're trying to go. It is transformational. Trans meaning beyond, form meaning the literal form, the body, and that process. And it is, like I said, body, mind, emotion, and spirit if you orient yourself to that part of yourself. So there's no aspect of your life that will not be changed if you really embrace it. And I just, I hope that more women walk into the doors of gyms for whatever their goals are, whether they want to be bodybuilders or not, and just take up space and reclaim their bodies and give themselves all the permission that they want to be as strong and powerful as they want in any part of their lives. Because if you don't, who else is going to do it for you?
Yeah, like you have to live for yourself. You can't live for everybody. Young, so your kids are pretty much grown. You have to live for you. Or to quote my man Bernie Mac, if people don't like who you are, fuck them. That's like I said. Here we got here.
Yeah, yeah.
This is for a man. Shout out to a man, Lawrence Perkins. Thank you for hanging in there. It says, Miss Sierra, your story will continue to inspire others around the world, including myself. I just wanted to tell you, no, keep on striving all the way. I say this to every guest with George. Yeah, because this is my man.
Thank
Sometimes the
you.
ladies know him well. I call him. He's the female bodybuilding whisperer. Sometimes
Yeah.
if I have a guest on here. And Lawrence they say, "Oh, it's Lawrence. Oh, you know Lawrence? I say, yeah, I know Lawrence. He's a good dude. You never met, but I appreciate when he comes in here and comment and support your ladies because I think support is good because like so
Yeah.
we said this friendships have changed because like one thing when you get in bodybuilding you can't go out like you used to. You can't go
Yeah,
to the
I had a
club.
guy one time because I am dating, and it is interesting trying to date as a bodybuilder because they want to know, like, can I take you out and where do you want to go? And it's like, well, I need to go somewhere that has either salmon, steak, or chicken, and I need to be home by 10 o'clock. They're like, or I'll just bring my own food. Like when I was in prep, I was just like, you don't need to take me to a restaurant. Let's just meet at the beach. I will bring my food. And they're like, you're the cheapest date ever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty demanding in all the other aspects. So just be grateful that I'm bringing my food prep. Yeah, it's hard. It's like friends want to invite you to stuff. Chris Bumstead, talked about that in tears, about how eventually people just stop inviting you because they're tired of you saying either no or only being able to participate, partially because of the food or the sleep or the training or whatever. So, yeah, it takes a certain kind of people to be our people. And yes, our kids, our families, we're always going to do whatever we can to maintain those connections. I'm never going to be the kind of bodybuilder that's like, either get with it or get out as far as my children are concerned. But as far as everybody else is concerned, when it comes like to dating or relationships, it's like, if you can't roll with it, please roll on because I'm not changing this path for anybody. And yeah, I mean, that's a part of the feminism, I think, of bodybuilding. The fact that women are even in this sport is a sign of progress. The fact that there are so many divisions and so many places for women to find themselves, I think, is an act of feminism. And I think women owning their bodies and taking up space and showing up at the gym, even if they've never been there before or for 15 years, it's an act of feminism because like we're just trying to make our way in this world, and this is a great path to do it. It can be as personal as you want it to be, or it can be as public as you want it to be.
Yeah, 2 snaps up. We go, girl. Yeah, but I think a lot of men feel like, especially when we get into sport, it's like you get into our area of the masculinity part. But
Mm,
this is the thing is, you're an athlete, and you
mm,
are a mother, and you are a woman, and that's one thing that you're always going to be. There's nothing, no matter how much weight you lift, you're never going to be a man because we're always going to be different. This house is like men and women. We're the same race, but with different species.
mm,
Somebody say genders, I say species. But
mm,
aspects of where you get into sport and what you get out of the sport is important for you. The guys who get into it, they do it because they like it, they love it. Just same as you ladies, they know it's not as profitable if you're lucky enough to get sponsorship. Like,
mhm.
have you been approached by sponsors or anybody?
I haven't really been about like trying to build a presence or anything. I'm a nature therapist and an athlete and a mom and I'm not really great with technology. I wouldn't be opposed to it for a company that represents values that matter to me. Um, yeah, I don't know if that's something I'll ever have to deal with, but when I get there, I'm open to it and I'll evaluate it and how their messaging and my personal beliefs line up.
Yeah, that's the hard part, especially for ladies who get into sport because they try to find ways to make income. Sponsorship does help. Quite a few ladies who I know, they do, as I call them, the beat the meat websites. That's her OnlyFans or her biceps. It's the way they make money because there is, like I said, it's a big fetish. because you ladies,
Yeah,
it's
and
about
I don't have any judgment about that at all. I mean, for sure, people have asked me to do that. As a therapist and a performance coach, there's a part of me that is like, I would really hate for one of my clients to land on one of those sites. I'd hate for one of my children to that's not for me. I mean, maybe something innocuous like cute toenails or something like that. But what I am doing is launching a Patreon for the Gym Rat Therapist to build a community of support, interactive coaching support for master's level athletes, and especially the women, where I'll post content, recorded content once a week, and have interaction with folks in the comments to support them in whatever the sticky points are for them trying to get to their next level of success, along with weekly lives to address any topics that come up in the comments or in the DMs, or people that join the live can be, real time, coaching and mindset work and relationship strategizing, and just looking at any of the ways that self-limiting thinking and behaving is getting in the way of their progress. So I am moving in the direction of utilizing some of those, I guess you might call them passive income platforms, but I want to do it in a way that is of service and aligned with what I feel like my mission is, and is that hinge point between my skills as a therapist and a coach, with my life experience as an athlete and a competitor. So I'm excited about that on Patreon. It's the Gym Rat Therapist, and we'll see where that goes.
Well, I wish you best luck with that, because I know it's tough, because a lot of people, especially in my community, the Black community, we don't want to talk about stuff like mental health like that.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
it's very, we feel like it's y'all problem, white people's problem, but everybody, all humans have mental issues.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. I accepted that. There's I remember I was watching a show that's there's a difference between a psychopath and a psychotic. A psychotic
Yes.
don't think he's crazy. A psychopath knows he's crazy, and I know I'm a psychopath. But
Woo!
yeah.
Well, I will say that is why many therapists also offer a coaching arm, because the therapy side, the clinical side, is where we do the diagnosing and we dig into all the shadows of the closet, and we're really looking at deep pathology. Whereas the coaching arm is very much more about right here, right now. I'm not going to give you a label. There's not going to be a treatment plan. We're not going to talk about this as pathology. We're going to talk about this as challenges in your life right now. What are you doing that's maintaining that? And what do you need to do differently to be out of that cycle and to be on to a new thing that is actually moving that stuck place forward? So my hope is that, people listening to this will know that you don't have to go into that scary world of being psychoanalyzed to get the support that you might need to be successful in whatever it is that you're trying to do. I mean, that's the difference between therapy and coaching. And so maybe for some folks, the coaching arm feels a little bit more accessible and spacious and, a little less heavy.
Mm-hmm. So are you planning on getting your doctorate, or maybe your
PhD?
PhD?
When I got the master's, I had that opportunity to do a continuous program where you did 2 years to acquire the master's, and then just keep going for 2 more years to get the PsyD. And at that point, what I decided was, and so the thing about psychologists is that they're mostly doing assessments. They're mostly meeting in 1-off or 2-off sessions to do these battery of tests, and then give you this very specific outcome of information. And that's not really where I wanted to be. I wanted to be down in the trenches with people. I wanted to be in the process. I wanted to be in longer term relationships where I could really be a part of the transformative process. And that's what the master's and the licensed marriage and family therapist does for me. And that's where I find my satisfaction and self-expression. And so I decided I'm going to do that, and I'm going to maximize my contribution to humanity that way. And if I get bored, then maybe I'll go back and do the PsyD later. But, mainly I'm filling myself up with additional certifications, eco psychology, applied sports psychology, moving farther into the executive coaching, mental performance coaching side of things, so that I feel like I have a diversity of tools and expressions that, I don't have to buckle down and like sign my life over to something equally as demanding as bodybuilding is, but in a chair with a computer for hours a day. Like it's a whole job to do a doctoral degree. So maybe when I'm older and maybe when I'm done with bodybuilding, maybe.
Yeah. So you just want to keep your boots to the ground, 10 toes down, and be in the trenches.
Yeah, I really prefer to be like that person who's gone through the dark night of the soul and just a few steps ahead of other people coming out of the dark night, or if they're still down there in the dark and they're just like, I can't imagine how to get out of here. And then it's like, oh, that's okay. I've already been down here. I know the way. I know ways out. I don't know your way out, but I know ways out, and we can figure it out together.
She mentioned the dark night. I want to ask you something, Doctor. What do you analyze about me? What do you get a load of me? What do you think of my scores? Am I my anarchy? I'm Agent Chaos. Dr. Fry Lee, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful.
Yeah, I appreciate that you give your dark side a platform, because a lot of people don't acknowledge that they have that dark side and they try to hide it, and then it comes out sideways and people feel it and they call people out on it, and then they're offended because they've said out loud the thing that you're not accepting about yourself. But you fully accepted that you've got a joker in there. So like, good on you. I feel like that's pretty healthy.
Well, I have more than joker. I have quite a few others. I have, my first one was, a friend of mine called me the pervy sage, derived from yeah, called me pervy sage. And then there's another one, he's called Suki Johnson. He's the player hated the year. Sometimes he comes out because he can't hate no more. And then there was one that I developed, I don't use him too much, but I call him, he's Jon Snow. He's like, it's often when I do this stuff and people send me stuff, like I call them my little birdies, they're my ravens, they send me information. I'm Jon Snow, the master of the wall, the bastard of Winterfell. I'm not a bastard, my parents are married. But when doing this, you need that to help you, because there's a lot of stuff that's in this. And like I said, I have to sit and talk with ladies and have conversations, and it takes some shit. I mean, I remember I used to work like I said again, I worked with women for a long time. My first job was working at a gas station. And I worked 13 years in textiles with women. And then I worked 6-7 years in a strip club, and it's one thing, guys would say, like, dude, you're around. Some days it's not a good day for them. And if they do, sometimes we sit and have conversations, and because especially the sexualization of women, it's just, it's hard. And even in this sport, not just the bikini girls and the wellness girls, the figure girls, the competitors.
Everyone. Patriarchy. I think you have to accept that we live in a patriarchy, and we're seeing it especially with the current political climate, that women are seen as a resource and a commodity, and there is a desire to control us and how we contribute and how we exercise our freedoms. So yeah, sexual exploitation of women is as long as the history of human beings. And the more conscious men become, and I love that there's so many men who are watching this live and commenting in positive ways and recognizing any contribution that I might be making to the bigger conversation, because we need y'all to be the ones to speak up and stand up when you hear effed up stuff like your body, my choice. We need y'all to be our protectors. We didn't necessarily think that we needed that as we came out of the 80s and the 90s and women started moving into the workforce, and the pay gap and all of the things that have, are built into the system of women emerging into greater parts of society. But at this point, as a very strong feminist, and as a woman who, for most of my life since I've been divorced for 12 years, did not think that I wanted to be married again. But at this point, I recognize that the way that this country is going, if I choose to stay here, I and other women will need the physical and financial protection of men. So we need you guys to recognize that there are systems at play that are anti-woman, and they're anti a lot of other things, including anti-Black, anti-people of color, anti-religions that are different than what the, governmental...
Anti-sexual orientation.
Everything. Pretty much everything except white
males. Because here's not me. I'm a descendant of a slave. I'm just only 3 generations. My great grandfather was a slave. My grandfather was a sharecropper. My parents were sharecropper. I sharecropper a little bit. We came from an area where we had to work. My parents had to work because they had to My mother had to feed 6 kids.
All
She
those
had 7, but she
kids.
lost 1.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing is, and that's why I have respect for women. I like I said, we still love y'all women because we
Yeah, I
we
know,
stay.
but you're doing a great job of walking the line, right? You're doing a great
Yeah,
job of like expressing your respect and enthusiasm while also giving us a platform to have voices. And
that's that's
yeah, that's my
that's
plea, I guess, with any of the men listening is just to please continue to be an amplifier for women and a protector because we're going to need you guys.
that's why I did this because really, why I started this because this was helping my man fill my mom's issues. And
Mm.
then when I just started getting into it fully, because like I said, I've been a fan, bodybuilding for a long time. And I've been a fan of you ladies. I mean, like I said, my brother used to play football here in our hometown. And he used to get the muscle max. I remember
Mhm.
grew up with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lee Labrada, and Lee Haney and those great guys. But then y'all women, y'all came up, especially when I was getting to my pubescent age, and seeing people like Corey Everson and Laura Craval and Vicky Gates and some beautiful women, and then doing this content and knowing what it takes to be a woman's sport. Like
Mhm.
not everybody can be like the great Ronnie Coleman says. Not everybody want to be a bodybuilder. No one can live this
Yeah,
heavy
but
ass weight.
nobody want to listen to a heavy ass weight.
But I said again, this is a passion sport. Some people, this is their life. This is what they make their money off of. But also, there's people that enjoy doing this. As you know, as you heard recently, the the pro card thing that might hurt a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't know, maybe not. Some competitors may say, you know what, let me go ahead and compete because I worked so hard to get to this level.
Yeah.
I don't want to give that pro card. Others they say, you know what, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's just a little card. I
Mhm.
just go ahead and start at the
Yeah.
bottom. Always move on.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of this sport that really is a sport of about passion and
Mhm.
finding yourself as an
Yep.
athlete, as a woman
Yep.
or a man. You
Yep.
know, this is why I do this because I would love someday to have Andrea on here and do an interview with her.
I
I
hope
mean,
you do.
I would love to. I used to pick up my man Big Keith. He's an IFB pro. He comes out here and we do a
Yeah.
podcast together. He was one time training with Andrea. One time he sent me a picture of it. He said, "Hey, get your hand on my girl." But I stopped doing it because I can't be jealous. He's my brother. I love him, but I told him, but I stopped doing it. But I get to learn what from every person I do interview. I learn a little bit, and also I use some of those things to help my life. Like I said again, I was almost 500 pounds. After my mom died, I was at 500 pounds, just about it. It was just 10 to 15 pounds away from it. And
Yeah.
then talking with you ladies, and and I knew one thing I need to get back into. I try to walk out a little bit, but I got 2 bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin because I'm got arthritis. I have this tick about I do pretty good because the last time I went to my cardiologist, everything's pretty good on my pacemaker. Just a
Good.
couple of years ago, I gave me a battery. And I really learned what it takes. Like I say again, I do find your ladies intoxicating, but I do respect your passion, your work ethic, and what you take to do this sport. Not everybody can do this. Most people wouldn't want to, go on a diet when you have to eat quinoa or rice and this and your workouts. Like you say, you love your back. What's your least favorite workout when you're training?
Arm day. I need it. I mean, that's the thing is like everything that we resist is probably the very thing that we most need. And I speak that from bodybuilding as well as like just our mental health. The thing that we least want to do is probably the thing that we most need to do. And arm day is that for me. I'm a long limbed woman, right? Like I'm 5'8", and my levers are really long, and it takes a long time to put mass on a longer lever. So yeah, arm day is a particular kind of pain.
And what's your favorite?
Back day, hands down.
Well, I got a friend of mine. She's like 5'9". She's an Ivy Pro. Her name is Tina Williams, and
Oh, good.
she's
I'm gonna look
five
her up.
nine. Yeah, I show you a picture right here. This is she competed last year at the Grand Prix show. They was having it in Anaheim. Their debut was idol. And I don't think I'm gonna have it this year because it's not on the list. This is Tina. Tina, she's
Yes,
5'9". She had a couple of kids. Beautiful lady. She's been on here a
yes.
couple of do our podcasts. Her and her husband. You know, I think it takes a lot of you ladies who are tall a lot more time because,
Mhm.
as you know, the shorter girls like you look at someone like Michaela
Yeah,
Aycock, or
yes,
they're so compact. They can put on muscle
yes.
like that. You know,
Hmm.
but it's stuff. Here we got here. Shout out to my man, Balls Deep. He says, he says, you are sexy as AF. You got white privilege. You'll be okay.
Hey, they're coming
Also,
for all of us. They're coming for all of
yeah,
us.
so yes, Lord. So yeah, because you know what? I mean, I'm just people. I don't know why. This is. I'm gonna say this. You put in the man who does a nut, who has failed in business, who keeps getting married. And his first wife was an immigrant. His last wife was an immigrant. She actually kissed y'all governor before she kissed her own husband. I had to tell you something.
I was definitely analyzing that interaction, and there was a lot of information in there. I wish I could join the chat. I don't know if I join the chat if I'm gonna mess anything up. So I'm just gonna say I wish I could respond to all of these. It's really fun to read them, and I really appreciate all of the support, you guys. That's really sweet.
That's why I like doing lives, because some people, they do the recordings, pre-recordings. I like doing lives because I love when you guys come here and they make comments. I know Ballsy, you like to say, is she gonna flex? I don't ask anybody to flex, because sometimes the ladies are always posing. They get enough. See, they want to see flexing because they want to. Oh no, don't take out. She's about to take out his jacket, Ballsy.
I haven't even trained yet today. So we don't have a pump, but
there you go. Okay, you guys, you got a little flex. So put away your tissue, your lotion. Okay.
And I've got a big exposure here with the light.
Yeah,
so
that's all right.
Super white
cool.
right
You
now.
don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. But they always have to say, hey, get into flex. Sometimes we get tired of flexing. Sometimes we have that's a conversation. You want to flex? Go to their IGs. They always post those videos, but these guys,
right? Yeah, throw my IG in there, and they can go check it out.
But again, if you want to follow her, guys, her IG is in the description of this live. Check her out.
There we go.
Also, if somebody looking for, if you're going through some mental health, if you family health, anything like you need, here's the link. Yeah, check out her Gym Rat. Yeah, go to Gym Rat and call her at 805-335-1915. If you're so interested, just to talk or doing balance stuff, or you're athlete. Look at somebody who understands what it is, because I think it's one thing you want to find someone who understands. Excuse me, what gets you into sport or bodybuilding. But like I said, we're not gonna hold it much too longer. This is a great conversation. I mean, it's good to get a good. Sometimes, one time I felt like almost a 2-hour talk with a lady. Sometimes you sit here just talking, you never how time flies. But it's about my summertime for me, and I got to feed the machine.
You on West Coast time?
Yeah, it's already about 6 for here, and I do appreciate wanting to talk to you ladies. And as you say, you are planning to do Masters Nationals.
Yeah, the November show in Anaheim. Yeah, that's the peak. But we got to get a couple of shows under our belt between now and then. Obviously, whether or not the rules say I need to have the overall, I want the overall, because that will tell me that I'm there. That I'm on that threshold and would be competitive on a early career pro status stage. So that is the goal. Compete in October and peak in November.
Yeah, pick a couple of regional shows, see how you do, and if you place well in those shows, that get you a little qualification.
Exactly.
I mean, like I said, it's tough. Just interview a couple ladies who got their pro cards just a while ago, and they're planning on making their pro debut this year. Good luck to them, and any athlete, anybody who gets in the sport, understand what's involved in the sacrifice, not just mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, that's involved in this sport. It's not as easy. It's not just popping pills and just lifting weights. You have to be consistent.
No supplement without hard work will produce gains. I mean, it's kind of like in Christianity when they say faith without work is dead. Supplements without work is going to get you nowhere.
That's what it is, because I have quite a few people tell me, say, George, people take the shit, if I took it and they don't do the work I do, they won't look as like I do, because you don't follow the regimen, you don't follow what your coach plans you. And it's again, men and women are always different. What works for a man does not work for a woman. You have to work with what is your body type, what is work on those necessaries. You say you don't like arm day. I know some ladies say don't like chest day. Some ladies don't like leg day, because leg day is like an episode of Chappelle's Show when Charlie Murphy met Rick James, and Rick went back to his house and beating his legs and says, "If you catch it," and he beat his legs. And, but if you don't make improvements on your weaknesses and also strengthen your strengths, you don't have much of a career as a bodybuilder. You have to work on making yourself complete. Work on your rest, work on your recovery, work on your diet. Everything is involved with it, because it's not as easy. But like I said, from an outsider perspective, I really respect what y'all ladies do. That's why I have this channel. Give y'all ladies a voice. the quote from my man, the movie Dark or Batman Begins, when Jim Gordon says to Batman says, "I never get a chance to thank you." And he turns around and says, "You never have to. That's why I do this." So, one question I ask you: what would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding?
Hmm. Yeah, it's always been about being the fullest expression of who I am. So I am fierce and I am determined and I am goal driven and I am in a phase of life where I am reclaiming and celebrating my own personal power. And when I train in the gym, everybody around me knows it. And when I show up on stage, everybody sees that I'm coming with that spirit. So I want to, when I get to the time of life when I look back and decide that I'm ready to hang up the heels, as they say, even though I'm probably never going to be on the heels again, that I grew as a person and that I took my experiences of self reclamation seriously for myself and for my children and for the collective of women who may or may not have that same opportunity, whether it's lifestyle or health or society. So, yeah, I just want it to be about full self actualization from the ground up.
Yeah, I respect that. And one thing also, I would say people out there who are interested in her, if you're someone maybe, like I said, is interested in sponsoring an athlete, and sponsor does help. Reach out with genuine interest. Don't be this guy and say, "Hey, Sierra, I know you're a head doctor, so you want to spec my head." No, 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 no. This is what you stop that guy. Stop that. This is when you do like the, Miss Boatwright. We are very interested about you. Your story about how you got to therapy and how what you're working and your passion for bodybuilding is something that really interests and intrigues us as a business. So we have a brand that we like to use to represent us as a brand ambassador. So if it's something you might be interested in, if it doesn't, if you feel like it impedes on your life or whatever, and something you feel like it really helps you in your process, we'd like to offer you a sponsorship. So if you're interested, ma'am, let us know.
That works.
Yeah. Sorry, contact baby. But yeah, I like I said, I enjoy talking with you ladies. I enjoy getting the specs from you. And this is a great opportunity. Anytime you talk with any ladies in sport, be either be NPC, OCB, PCA, I really learned something from each of my conversations. And I hope all the best for you and your
Thank you.
family and your kids, anything like this. We got here, shout from, this is Sammy Jr. He says, "I enjoy looking at her." Yeah, I know you do, guys.
I have a
So yeah.
brain. I have a
They're not
brain.
looking at that. They're not looking at that. They're looking a little bit low down there. Yeah, like they did. Yeah, 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 yeah. But like I said again, like I said again, hey, you ladies rock hard, we rock hard. But but I would say I appreciate time for you giving with me this conversation. Hope the best for you. Shout out
Thank
to
you.
Coach 3D. 3D. Used to be the Dudley Boys. They used
It's
to
his
run off the
birthday
3D.
today. It's his
Oh,
birthday, so he's over there being family man and celebrating 60 years of good health and 42 years of training amazing athletes and being a world champion himself. So happy
60
birthday to
years.
60.
I
Yeah,
I would love to see
1
60
maybe.
years.
I think he's 61 maybe. I don't remember. No, it's
I would
60. It is
love
60.
I would love to see 60 years. I know my family have issues. I know some family members have passed away in their 50s, but I would hope to see that someday. I mean, I would love to. I mean, my older brother, he died at 34, and that was like.
Mm.
But yeah, I will hope to see that someday. I would love to see that. It's also from man, Sammy Jordan says, "Great show. Thank you, brother. I appreciate
Thank
that. I
you.
appreciate you guys coming through." So before I let you go, do you have anybody you want to shout out?
Oh, I feel like I shouted out so many people today. I mean, I'm just so grateful for all of the contributors to my bodybuilding career as it has unfolded. I mean, Coach D is the rock. He is the foundation of everything, and then my teammates, everyone on Team 3D who's currently or past competing, our familia is strong. There's Autumn Cleveland, who was my first posing coach in figure, and she's so articulate. I mean, any person who wants to go into figure, she has an amazing online
Yeah,
course.
I follow
It's
Autumn. I
so
think yeah,
detailed. It's so good, and working
yeah.
with her one on one is amazing. Christina Mendoza, obviously KJ Productions. Those guys are amazing. You know, I stay in a pretty small world. Those are my people right now. I mean, some of them popped in here. My Jim Poppy Chris, he's my bro, and
Poppy Chris.
yeah, those are the folks that are really like making a contribution to my life right now. And of course, Diana Perez and Manon Dutili, who are my like aspirations. I mean, very different body types, but I love the intensity that they bring to the sport. And you know, at different stages of the process too. Like Diana just turned pro, and Manon's been up there for a long time. So I think it's always good to like anchor ourselves in people who are at different stages of the journey, because if we're all always looking at just pros and Olympians, it's very hard to appreciate the stage that we are in. So, you know, as an NPC moving toward IFBB athlete, I like being able to follow people who have just recently turned pro, because that really helps like give me that like, yes, I can do that too. And I feel like that's the same in mental health. It's like find someone that you can work with who's been where you've been or has a life experience that resonates, and they're just a little bit farther ahead of you, and that they can help you through. Because you know, if they've done it, that they probably can help you do it too. So
Yeah, it's good that have committed yourself to this and you love what you do. Because I say this again, you have to love being a bodybuilder. You just can't do this. It's not like, there's a big
you
difference
ain't gonna
between
make it if you don't love it.
There's a big difference between motivation and discipline, what I've learned. If you're not disciplined, no motivation is not going to help you. Sometimes motivation
motivation is just the door. That's just like that's the door. You still gotta like walk the discipline.
You got to walk the line. So, folks, we appreciate the lovely Mrs. Sierra Boatwright for coming through. Shout out to Poppy Chris. Shout out to man KL the Wanderer, Balls Deep. Also Sam Jr., my man Lawrence Perkins. Anybody else who was here, who watched and followed this live stream. Instead of if you want to follow her links in the live stream of this description of this video. Also, you can check her out here at contact Jim Rat to 805-335-1915 if you're so interested in doing with health issues or just want to just talk about what you're going through as an athlete. But like I said, be serious, guys. Be interested. And you know my rules, guys. You got a kid at home. You got 2 grown boys. I don't want to hear no story about some guy sending a picture of his woody woo and it says, "Hey, you see that? She tell her mom, and you're like stomping out. So I say, "Oh my God, those boys stomping out that man." But guys, be respectful. I'm gonna say this is a lady. This is a lady, not some hoe in the streets.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Like I said again, you never have to. That's why I do. So, folks, we like to appreciate Sarah coming through. Wish her best of luck this year. Hope she does get a pro card. It's a tough sport.
Yes,
if not, it's always next year. Time flies. We know it. So, folks, thank you for anybody who's here. We appreciate Sarah coming through. Thank you for all the people who's here and commenting. We appreciate your support. This is your man, always your page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, don't subscribe. Have a good evening, good night, good luck, and God bless.
Thank you. Bye.